Hi, I'm Bukky Karibi-Whyte, and I am an under 40 CEO.
The African Renaissance. The concept that the African people and nation shall overcome the current challenges confronting the continent and achieve cultural, scientific, and economic renewal is here, with young men and women taking the lead. Some call them the new school heroes. We call them under 40 CEOs.
Some have described her as one lady who knows how to make a statement. Bukky Karibi-Whyte is the founder of one of Nigeria's leading independent public relations agencies, the Bobby Taylor Company. Bukky also holds a degree in African American history from the University of Massachusetts. The Bobby Taylor Company is a publicity services company located in Lagos, Nigeria. The company services sectors such as corporate, entertainment, lifestyle, fashion, luxury, beauty, health, and special events, providing services such as media relations, reputation management, strategic communication, advisory services, event management, and more. The Bobby Taylor Company is one of the go-to companies in Nigeria for all of your PR needs. Bukky Karibi-Whyte is also a motivational speaker and a women's advocate. In recent times, Bukky Karibi-Whyte has also birthed two other communications agencies, Invicta Africa, with a focus on corporate communications, and Boombox PR, which she co-founded, with a focus on the Nigerian entertainment industry. Welcome to Under 40 CEOs, Bukky.
Thank you very much.
Pulse TV describes you as a PR mogul, and I know that you started small from your living room somewhere in Canada. Now, I know with the drive that you have, you could have been successful at anything you chose. Why PR?
My mom was a PR person. She has a master's in public relations from Boston University and worked as AGM marketing for Nigeria Airways.
Oh, nice.
So from when I was really young, I've just been in the world of PR because she's really, really into public relations herself. Everything from performing at a young age. Yes, I did some adverts as well for Nigeria Airways. My house was full of celebrities at the time when we were young, name it Power Uti, Ben Bruce, all of those guys. They were around. So I don't think that, you know, they say an apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. I am my mother's child, and I guess this is why it's the only thing I really know how to do.
Beautiful. Now, you read African American history.
That's right.
At the University of Massachusetts.
That's right.
Now, has this knowledge in any way enhanced your storytelling for your clients and brands?
So when you're studying African American history, you know that you're writing a lot of papers, you're writing thesis, you're doing research, you're understanding a culture of people, there's psychology involved in all of that stuff. So yes, I can see how it translates into PR.
Okay, beautiful. Now, I'm a bit curious to know, what were you doing between the years 2002, that's when you left the university, up until 2005, when you were a special assistant to a dean at the University of Manitoba?
I was having a child and getting married and doing all the right things that, you know, I was meant to do at the time. But yes, I was working. I did a lot of administrative work. My professional experience has a lot to do with admin work. I'm a fantastic executive assistant. So knowing how to type, knowing how to be organized and all of that, and I think all of that stuff shaped me for what I'm doing now.
Beautiful. Now, I've heard the story about how you leveraged the Future Awards to project your brand. Now, tell me more about this journey, this PR journey.
Well, it's a good one. It's been a fantastic journey, and yes, I did leverage the Future Awards. I had something to offer, and they happily accepted it, and I'm very grateful to them. Apart from introducing my brand to the market, I think it now comes to what I've done with that brand after that, which is to continue to provide fantastic service in terms of public relations, redefine myself, build a team, build my career and all of that. And it's been going well so far. PR changes. There's new trends for public relations for 2016. We're hearing now that less words in your press releases and more images and stuff like that. Social media is going to continue to be king and all of that stuff. So, you know, we're growing and the journey's still on there. So we're very excited.
So Pulse TV was right about you being a PR mogul, because I mean you recently launched 2 PR firms, additional PR firms.
That's right.
Invicta Africa and Boombox PR. Now please tell me, what's the unique selling point for each of these companies, and how does it differ from Bobby Taylor Company?
Right. So when I started the Bobby Taylor Company, I started with artists, LD, Shank, MI, D'banj, and all of that. And then very slowly we started to go into brands. So then you now have your MAC Cosmetics and your Estee Lauders and Tom Ford and Cliniques. And then we now started going into events. Then you have your Fela on Broadway, Calabar Jazz Festival, Lagos Jazz Series, and all of that. I started to notice fairly quickly that the Bobby Taylor Company was becoming a lifestyle brand, which is really what it is. It's very lifestyle and luxury and all of that. I also noticed that I was being snubbed by the corporate industry because, you know, you're not hiring the PR person for an artist to launch or to tell a corporate story. They couldn't see a connection there. And so I decided to form Invicta Africa. Invicta Africa deals strictly with corporate communications and corporate entities, and that's what we do with that. And then Boombox is actually birthed by me and a guy called Toby Abimbola. Okay. It's very music oriented, it's very entertainment oriented, it's fresh, it's dynamic. That's what Boombox is. Boombox is the future of PR and entertainment industry, and we're coming hard.
This is Under 40 CEOs.
What sort of advice would you give to a young budding business on how to put their best foot forward to ensure that the right image is projected all of the time?
I always say one thing. In terms of business, there are many businesses. There are tons of businesses out there. But then when it comes to what sets you apart is where PR comes in. What is your brand known for? What are your colors? What services are you offering that no one else is? What's unique to your brand, and how are you telling that brand story? Those things need to be identified. Another thing I always preach about is have a website, please. Be relevant on social media, all of that kind of stuff, extremely important. So defining what sets you apart from everyone else should be your starting point.
Okay, beautiful. Now, reputation management is your thing. Now, do you remember the last, and could you tell me about the last challenging scenario you had with a client that you had to effectively manage?
So we had an event called Butterscotch Evenings. Amazing event. It's been on now. This is meant to be like the 3rd edition. Okay. I've worked with them for each edition. And the artist that we were meant to bring into town this year, it was Brian McKnight. And Butterscotch is known for having a fantastic culinary experience. So they have an international chef come in and prepare a 5-course meal. And you have international artists, and then you have our local artists, and then you have entertainment and fashion. Everything all infused in one night to give you a true Butterscotch experience, right? So it's meant to take place in December. We got a call 2 days to the event that Brian McKnight was never paid and that he wasn't coming. 48 hours to the show. The show organizers, of course, everyone went into full panic because people that are buying the tickets to come there were true Brian McKnight fans. And now we had 0 artists. It was of my professional opinion that the show should be canceled. It took a long time for the organizers to agree to that. How we worked on that was by effectively communicating. I find that in Nigeria, when you explain to people, when you let them know how the situation will be rectified, they're more receptive. So immediately we issued a release to all of our media partners, called Linda KG, everybody, put it up, let them know that, you know, Brian McKnight was not coming, but that we were promising them Brian McKnight at a future date, told everyone to hold on to their tickets. People that showed up on that day, we had ushers outside the venue right there with printed sheets of paper with a nice explanation, contact details, and all of that was handed out to everyone that didn't get the SMS or didn't see it online or didn't get any of that. There were people there and all of that collecting information, getting their email addresses, phone numbers. Communicating with these guys was all we did, and it worked. It worked fantastically well. As a matter of fact, Brian McKnight is coming into Lagos this weekend. And so everyone that did, everyone that got their tables and their tickets and everything, they get to watch a complimentary show.
Amazing.
Yeah.
All right, Bukky, you've handled public relations in the past for artists like LD, The Bench, and I know you've also worked with the corporates. Now, which is most interesting for you? And which is most challenging for you, working with the entertainment people or the corporates?
I would say corporate is most likely easier. The entertainment industry, I don't think that, and I continue to say this in every interview, and I hope I don't sound like a broken record, but I don't think everything is in place. There's not enough managers. There's not enough, you know, booking agencies and all of that. So it kind of makes our job a little bit more difficult. But in terms of everyday excitement, you have to give it to entertainment. It's always something new every day.
This is Under 40 CEOs.
The biggest and the best firms have been built up by receiving valuable feedback from clients, colleagues, friends, and the general public. Does the Bobby Taylor Company, under the leadership of Bukky Karibi-Whyte, value feedback? Now, this is something I picked up from your company's Twitter handle just this morning. It says, and I quote, "Are you listening? Customer feedback is valuable and must be integrated into your business, marketing, product, and service delivery strategies." Now, what sort of feedback have you gotten in recent times from your clients, good and bad?
Good feedback, of course, when the client sees themselves in the newspapers or we're giving them media tours, they're excited. When bills come about, they're not so excited. I've also received feedback recently. I mean, I have clients who want to see my face all the time. And I try to explain to them that my team are just as talented as myself. You know how Nigeria can get, if they want to see the owner. Where's Bobby? Bring Bobby here. And Bobby can't be everywhere at the same time. And so, which led to me changing people calling me Bobby to Bukky. Because now every member of my staff is Bobby. So that's been challenging, but we're getting there. People are beginning to understand, okay, there's a Bukky Karibi-Whyte. Bobby Taylor is the company. It doesn't mean that Bukky is Bobby. And if you're not dealing with Bobby directly, meaning Bukky, then there's a problem.
So yeah, let's go to more fun stuff. Travel. Now, how has travel and interacting with diverse cultures added value to your person and to your brand?
I love traveling. It's one of my greatest hobbies. Learning different cultures, of course, will add value to any brand. And learning how to work with people other than your people also works. Africa, Nigeria in general, is going to become a major hub for a lot of international brands. Being able to understand how they communicate and being able to translate that into local language here, extremely important, and it's going to be key. So understanding their style of PR and then being able to bring that here and localize it is what has actually given us an edge, and that's why we represent some international brands as well. So traveling, extremely important.
As CEOs, we all, run into challenges on a regular, I'm sure. While on this CEO journey, what are those key challenges that you've had to overcome to achieve the strides that you have so far?
Number one for me is actually finding the right team. The people that you work with, the people that complement the company, the people that fit in, the people that actually see your vision and want to be a part of that vision. it's not an easy task to find that. Everybody has their own dream and has everything that they want to do. So finding those key people who are passionate about, you know, the job and the agency, to want to invest their time in it is number one for me. But I must say that I'm extremely blessed. I have a fantastic team, and we're doing it.
Okay, now you just talked about your team, and we all know that human resources are a key element to consider when growing an enterprise. Now, how do you hire?
I don't necessarily look for people with experience in public relations. I'm interested in people that are passionate. I always say that PR has a lot to do with passion, understanding and being passionate of your client's brand, and being able to, you know, do your research as to who their target audience is, and putting it out there, selling it to the editors and everything. You have to be passionate about it. So I look for people that have drive, people that are passionate, and people that are able to give and service as well.
Okay, we just talked about how you hire. Of course, there's a team that needs a leader, and in this case, that's you. What's your leadership style?
I'm one of those leaders that will throw you into the fire and hopefully figure out that you can find your way out of it. I don't know what type of leadership style that is, but it works because then you learn to do things your way. I'm not looking for a team to do things my way. I appreciate everyone's individuality because that's what makes the company unique, is that everybody comes with something. There's not a certain way that you're meant to be, or you're meant, you know what I mean? Yeah. So I try not to impose myself on my team. We have basic company rules, and that's just company rules. But in terms of your style of being a publicist, every single one of my team members here are very, very unique in what they do. When someone walks through the door and says, okay, I need PR for a jazz concert, we know exactly who from my team would be the best fit for that type of account. They didn't come here, my team members, not all of them came here knowing that I have this skill, but I have a good way of kind of figuring out and bringing it out of them, and they've embraced it, and they're doing fantastically well.
So yes, have you ever failed as a leader?
I'm sure I have. Who doesn't?
How so?
I have no clue. I'm sure that there have been instances where my team would have probably expected me to hold their hands, maybe direct them a little bit more, but it's just not my style. I kind of want you to figure things out for yourself. But I'm sure there are many times that I've failed.
Okay, beautiful. Now,
I can be harsh sometimes. I can, not harsh, I don't think that's the right word. I can be, you know how you have tough love? You hear them coughing in the corner there, because, yeah, you know, I'm a tough love type of person.
Okay, how important is delegation to you?
Delegation is important. Everybody has a role to play for the effective running of any business, so yeah.
Okay. Now, what are those key skill sets that a CEO needs to acquire in leading people?
You know, I always say that it's very important for the CEO to continue to reinvent themselves. You have to be knowledgeable about whatever it is that you're doing in order to lead. You can't lead people if you don't know what you're doing and if you haven't redefined your expertise in whatever field it is that you're working in. So a lot of it has to do with working on yourself so that you can be a better leader. Being a listener is very important. Patience, I say, is a virtue. I think listening to your team has a lot to do with this. I always seek their opinion. Sometimes I don't. I try to, their voices to be heard, so you know where, you know, they're lacking, where you can help them, and X, Y, and Z. So I'd say for me, being a great listener is one of the attributes of a good leader.
Okay, now what values are important to you and your firm?
Integrity. honesty. A lot of people think that public relations is about telling lies. We might spin the truth, but in our code of conduct, anywhere, you have to be honest. So I'd say integrity.
Okay, beautiful. Now, being a father myself, I'm sure that you struggle, maybe, with being a mother, a mogul. I'm trying to work with the M's here. How do you manage?
Good job. Yeah, I don't play with the family front. They're extremely important to me, so I do very many different things. So for example, I take my kids to meetings if I have to. They will sit in your reception area and they'll do their homework. I do a lot of the pickup and drop-offs for my kids myself. I don't schedule meetings around that time. I don't attend meetings around that time. It's very important to me. I do homework with my kids every evening, so meaning that when it hits a certain time, I'm going home, regardless. And there are times that I can't go home, of course. And my kids are understanding because, you know what, I'm there with them.
Okay.
They understand what mommy does as well. I take them to some of the shows and all of that.
Nice.
My husband is at every single one of my events, so.
So tell me, what's the biggest letdown that you've had in your career so far?
I don't think I've had any letdowns yet, though. I mean, you have situations where you put together a PR plan for a client that you think is going to become a client, and then they take your plan and they go and implement it themselves. But I think that's so typical. It happens everywhere. People steal your ideas. No one respects intellectual property and all of that stuff. In terms of a major letdown, I am so on a rise. I don't think I've had that letdown yet, and I hope it doesn't happen.
This is Under 40 CEOs.
Bukky is definitely one CEO that many ladies aspire to be like. But what does Bukky love to eat? What does she love to drive? What CEOs does she currently look up to? I seek to find out these and a little more. Now I have a few quick fire questions for you.
Sure, let's do it.
What do you love to eat?
Ribs.
How would you describe your style?
Weird.
What brands do you love to wear?
I like DVF. I like Chanel. And there are a lot of local brands I like. Ero Lagos. I'm in love with their Bubani Rose. Iconic and Vanity. Diola Sego jeans, rock.
Beautiful. Now, what other CEOs are you currently looking up to?
I'm very inspired by Nikhil Gunlesi.
Amazing. What's your favorite car to drive?
A Cobra Shelby Cobra. Something antique-ish. I'm not into all the, what we have now, the Range Rovers, the Hummers, and all. I don't like that. They don't have any character to me. I like very old cars. Stuff from like the 20s, that if I rode it down the street, people would be like, what the hell is that? Like that.
All right. What's your favorite travel destination?
Jamaica.
Your favorite book of all time?
Sweet Valley High. You know?
What book are you reading right now?
I am not reading any book right now.
Lastly, I would like to know, Bukky, what makes you happy?
I like people, and I like heightened emotions. People make me very happy. I like being in the midst of very happy people. There's something, energy from person to person is very real.
And
so
contagious.
people, yeah, very real, very contagious. So people you surround yourself with, where you're at, those are the things that make me happy.
Thank you for coming on Under 40 CEOs, Bukky.
My pleasure.
Right.
Hi, I'm Bukky Karibi-Whyte. I'm an Under 40 CEO, and you can be an Under 40 CEO as well.